Hi, this is Mike Power, President and CEO of Silver Range Resources, and this is a quick look at our Tonto del Pueblo property. First, quick word from our lawyers. Tonto del Pueblo is in northern Nye County, about 10 miles north of Gabbs, readily accessible off State Route 361 from Middlegate. Currently, we've got 15 claims on the project, all located on BLM land, no surface impediments. Tonto del Pueblo is located in the Lodi Hills district. First discoveries there date from about 1875, and there's been sporadic mining there ever since. The targets they found there are silver, lead, and some gold. The Illinois mine, about 5 kilometers southeast of Tonto del Pueblo, is a good example. It was found in 1875. The owner developed it by dragging in a 10-ton smelter and worked the property until 1891, when he was unfortunately shot by his brother. The property was reactivated in 1905. They built a small town there called Bob, dragged in a 100-ton-a-day smelter, did extensive underground workings, but the whole thing collapsed in 1914 and has been worked intermittently by leasers ever since. The San Rafael mine is located about 3 kilometers west-northwest of Tonto del Pueblo. It too is primarily a silver lead mine with some gold, lots of gold as it turns out. In the 1920s, about 1925, it was producing 100 tons a week of 36 ounce a ton silver and 1 ounce a ton gold with lots of lead. But it shut down in the 1930s and once again been operated intermittently by leasers since then, at least until the 1950s. But this really isn't the story for us in the Lodi Hills district, because we found an entirely different style of mineralization, one which could change the whole picture here. Let's take a look at the geology. Tonto del Pueblo is hosted in the Walker Lake Pamlico Luning terrain and the Quartz Mountain terrain. This is a package of Triassic through Lias Jurassic rocks accreted to North America. The ancestral boundary of North America is the 706 line you can see here. With respect to major mineralized trends in Nevada, Tonto del Pueblo is outside of the Walker Lane and south of the major magnetic lineaments associated with Miocene mineralization in northern Nevada. It is, however, located amidst a cluster of Oligocene caldera complexes, one of which hosts the Round Mountain deposit, a huge epithermal deposit southeast of Tonto del Pueblo. Zooming in, Tonto del Pueblo is underlain by Triassic Excelsior Formation metasediments, intruded by slightly younger granitic rocks and a quartz diorite. The whole area is chopped up with structure, and this is what hosts the mineralization you find at the Illinois and San Rafael mines. What we're looking for, however, is much younger, probably driven by one of these 4 Oligocene caldera complexes that surround Tonto del Pueblo. We think there might be a low sulfidation hydrothermal circuit set up here. Do we have any evidence of this? Well, 13 kilometers away from Tonto del Pueblo is the Brunner deposit. Hosts 342,000 ounces of gold. It's owned by Endeavour Silver, and it is a much younger low sulfidation epithermal deposit. So we think there could be something in the area, and there might be something at Tonto del Pueblo. Is there any evidence for this? Let's look at some ASTER imagery. Now, the ASTER remote sensing system can be processed to yield information on alteration minerals associated with epithermal deposits. In this case here, we're looking at processed ASTER data to yield a white mica response. So this would cover minerals ranging from cerussite, smectite, montmorillonite, illonite, all the way to muscovite. This channel nicely outlines the entire Lodi Hills, suggesting that yes, there's bedrock alteration, white mica alteration here, but if anything, it's a bit low in the area of Tonto del Pueblo. It's a little more interesting if we look at the alunite channel. Now, this channel includes porphyroite, dickite, as well as alunite, and these minerals are higher temperature clay minerals that tend to form in areas where you have an upwelling epithermal source and more intensive acidic alteration. So you can think of the alunite channel as closer to the heat source, and then generally in an epithermal system, that's a good thing because that's often where the gold deposition occurs. There's a distinct alunite channel anomaly in the area of the TDP project, extending a little bit off to the southeast. It's a little stronger if we look at the total argillic channel. So this is the sum of kaolinite, white mica, and the alunite channel. And once again, very distinct anomaly in the area of Tonto del Pueblo. So we're seeing evidence of epithermal alteration in the area of Tonto del Pueblo centered on the property. Here's the property geology mapped this spring. The northern part of the property is underlain by Excelsior and Dunlap Formation metasediments. These are Triassic. They're intruded by a slightly younger granite and this quartz diorite. They're all cut and dismembered by these northeast to east-northeast trending faults, along which are located numerous veins. So this is the structural host for the mineralization we've been finding at Tonto del Pueblo. There are a lot of faults here, more than we can show here because this is only preliminary mapping and a lot of the area is covered. The mineralization we're finding at Tonto del Pueblo is structurally hosted. It's found in veins, in shears, and in breccias. It's classic low sulfidation in style, consisting of medium to fine-grained quartz, sometimes with sulfide bloom like you see on the left here. There's classic quartz after calcite or bladed calcite texture, indicating boiling zone conditions. There's also cockade texture in some of the breccias. Again, a great indicator of boiling zone conditions in a low sulfidation epithermal system. With respect to the geochemistry, gold's associated with antimony, silver, mercury, sulfur, and copper. Fairly classic low sulfidation conditions with the possible exception of copper. And copper we find is basically secondary near the vein systems. Here's our sample results. We're looking at gold in rock samples. A total of 54 samples, grabs and chips from mine workings mostly, have been collected on the property. And the results are very good. 18 out of 54 samples we've collected to date run better than 5 grams per ton, and more than a couple run more than an ounce a ton. Very good sampling profile. We ran soil geochemical surveys to see if we could find out where all this gold was coming from and perhaps find some new targets. I've shown the soil results here in parts per billion and also historic workings from USGS topo maps. The grid looks a little funny because we're on a budget and we thought we were following 2 separate trends. So we just limited ourselves to those and put some connector lines in. Instead of finding a couple of discrete anomalies associated with perhaps 2 simple trends, we find widespread gold throughout the area. If we look at the principal component analysis, this is the gold factor that most strongly associated with the gold response in the data. Once again, it's widespread. We don't see some simple trend following a couple of structures here. This suggests to us there might be multiple sources in the area. Furthermore, we note that the gold in soil response doesn't necessarily kick up near where we're finding very high-grade gold in nearby workings. So all we can say from the gold responses has probably been smeared out and may indicate that there's multiple sources in the area. That's pretty encouraging to us. We ran VLF VM surveys. Again, we didn't cover the whole property because we were on a budget. We used the Cutler main station. That has an azimuth of about 65 degrees, and that lets us image structures that are striking sort of this way. So can't see the more northerly ones very clearly in this. There's a couple of trends that you can see in this data. The VLFEM conductors, which are in the hot colors, don't appear to be strongly associated with some of the gold we're finding in bedrock, perhaps except along here. We need to extend this survey and see what's happening over here to the southeast. So more work to be done here. We're starting to see a target model come together at Tonto del Pueblo. We're looking at low sulfidation, high-grade gold. This differs markedly from the mineralization you find at the nearby Illinois and San Rafael mines. Both of those host silver-lead mineralization associated with igneous rocks, which appears to be much older. Instead, what we find at Tonto del Pueblo appears to be tertiary epithermal mineralization driven by hydrothermal circulation from one of the 4 nearby Oligocene caldera complexes. We have a good analog in the nearby Brunner deposit. The mineralization we've found is hosted in extensively faulted basement rocks. This is similar in style to what you find down near Beatty at the Mother Lode and Sterling deposits. that are being developed by AngloGold Ashanti. So we found lots of gold at Tonto del Pueblo. It's widespread. Perhaps it all comes together somewhere. In order to figure this out, we're going back. We're going to run more soils. We're going to run more VLFEM. We're going to sort out some structural issues with mapping. I want to figure out if there might be a sweet spot where all of this is coming together. This property definitely merits more work, and we think we might be on the trail of something very significant here. So stay tuned.